What's up, y'all? Snipes-n-Snarfblatts, your unauthorized place for Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. I'm your host, Jason, and today we're going to be getting into A Wrinkle in Time. So my first thoughts on the movie, went to go see it yesterday on National Women's Day, and I gotta say, for what it was, I enjoyed the film. It's not a great movie. I saw some of the reviews coming out, and that they are mixed. They're all over the place. It's about I think it's a 5.1 out of 10 right now on Rotten Tomatoes. But I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it, like I said, for what it was. And I say for what it was because this is a family movie. And it is geared more towards a younger audience. Therefore, it might have skipped some people who would usually be trying to relate to these movies, because I took my teenage daughter to see it, and that's really who I think this is for, younger teenagers and tweens and going into this teen area, because I could see her over there really relating with the character of Meg in this movie. Meg's played by Storm Reed, who, if anyone shined in this movie, it was Storm Reed and the boy that played her brother, because they were amazing. They put through adult level acting that was on the level of Chris Pine's performance, who was also amazing in the movie, yet isn't really in the movie that much. These kids carried this movie. This was their movie, and this is a kid-type, family-based movie. And it kind of hurt, because while I was watching my daughter watch it, I thought about it, and I thought about myself as a teenager, and as much as I should have seen that movie, when you look at what it is, I wouldn't have went to go see it. And that's sad, because that means it's going to miss out a lot of its audience, probably, just because, jaded teenagers. But it's for them. This movie has a great message to it that I think every kid growing up should see. And I mean, it has its faults, but like I said, the acting is really good. The story they're trying to tell is good. And where it faults is, first of all, this movie's beautiful when it wants to be. When they put in the time and the imagination, this is one of the most beautiful fantasy films I've seen in a long time. However, more towards the ending, and one in particular, a balancing type scene. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, so I don't want to say who it is, but it involves, what was his name? He was the balanced mind or something like that. He was the happy medium. That's who he was. And anyway, his spot and the actual it spot towards the end and the graphics toward the end, they fall a little flat. But I saw this movie in 3D, and I think some of the effects really shined more in 3D than they would have in 2D. And I think if they'd have looked flat, they'd have just looked like really cheesy effects. And some of them looked really good in 3D. However, like I said, the happy medium, those scenes, they were okay. I could have done with a little more spectacle, because they really got outdid when you first get into the test ring and you first get into them going to this first place they go to. It's amazing. I know you see it in the previews. It's where the flowers are, and where all the three Mrs. Who, Mrs. Which, and Mrs. What's-It, where they're all at first and take them to their first spot. Which, by the way, the witches, they're entertaining. I love the one that speaks just in quotes, especially when she gets in some of the quotes that everyone will know. That's great. But Mrs. What's-It, Reese Witherspoon, steals it for all of them. She was the most entertaining out of the three, and it kept them watchable, because other than that, I think they would have got kind of boring. The other one would have got kind of cliche. Because Mrs. Who, all she does is talk in quotes, because she has so many words in her head that she doesn't know how to get them out. She has so much knowledge, so she talks in quotes, which is, like I said, it's unique, but it could have got old real quick, because some of the quotes just really, they make you think. And like I said, loved the movie, enjoyed it. It had its faults. Some of them were the mismatch of backgrounds. The other big fault for me is, I think, kind of just a fault for me and more of the adult audience of this film, because they get into explaining the test ring a little bit, and test ring is kind of based on a quantum mechanics, quantum theory type thing, where they start getting into thought and space and time all being intertwinkled and all being the same. All you have to do is really just come to that understanding, and you could go. It's really deep, and I would have loved to get it into more explaining of that, and how that thought is on the same level, and that's why the it could infect. But see, even when I'm talking right now, I'm halfway losing myself, because that's more of a Star Trek type thing, and there's a reason a Star Trek audience used to have kind of a small audience, and it's because it's just so tech based. So honestly, if that's the only thing I was missing was that, then I can't put that in there and make my great movie, because this movie was geared towards a younger audience, and it was for families, and it was for everyone to enjoy at the same time. That being said, there are a couple parts for smaller kids. They're a little freaky. You're going to have to explain to them going in that they're going to see some scary stuff, but it's all going to be okay, and it's all a movie when it really comes down to it. But like I said, there's a great message in this movie. I feel like my daughter really enjoyed this movie. She really identified with the main character, I think. And I think most kids growing up will identify with one of these three main kid characters, and I think that's what makes it so good for children that should watch this. It was a coming-of-age story showing that everybody has a reason to be here, and everyone has a reason to be loved, for instance, like they said. Trying to think of anything else I could really get into, because, I mean, I saw this movie in 3D. I would really, 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 really suggest seeing it in 3D. Because, like I said, the 3D adds layers to some of the lesser effects that just make them look beautiful when they're on screen. Other than that, I don't have too much more advice. I don't know if this is a must-go see to the theater, must tell your friends. If you're into fantasy, if you have children, go see this movie. However, the average audience could probably wait to see this movie at home, especially if you have a 3D television. You could wait to see this at home and just get the full effect of the 3D still and really sink it in. Like I said, it's a good movie. I would suggest seeing it. I don't know if I would suggest rushing out to the theater and paying top dollar for it, but if you don't have anything to do, it's a really good film to watch with your kids. Great film to watch with your teenagers. It feels like an old Disney movie. That's actually what it really feels like. Just a happy movie that makes you feel good while you're watching it. It's not on the Pirates caliber or anything like that, but I definitely would suggest watching it. I wouldn't let this one go. You'll form your own opinion, like it or not, but it's not a hateable movie. It's just, we're in this time now where you're either something's the greatest movie ever or something's just a steaming pile, and there's no really in between. Well, I'll be the first to say this movie fits in that in between. It's a good movie to watch. You will not hate yourself for watching this movie, but you also probably won't come out of it with any revelations of thinking you saw the greatest thing of all time. But do try to see it in 3D if you can, because like I said, that adds a lot to what were some lackluster effects in the middle of some amazingly beautiful, spectacular effects. But like I said, hats off to the kids. Watch their career. These kids are going to go far. Check down in the description for, follow us. We've got a website. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Pinterest. You like pictures? Follow us on Pinterest. Follow us anywhere. And even more importantly, subscribe, hit the little bell. You'll see when we put things out. We have some exciting things coming up. I'm going to make an announcement really soon on what's going to happen. There's going to be some big changes. I've got to postpone the big payoff on the show, but you'll see why soon, and I think we're all going to be really excited. Anyway, I give you this gift. I give you the gift of your thoughts.